The evidence clearly points to your innocence.
I know, Your Honor.
Judge Grayson thought he was about to sentence another clueless teenager until the defendant began dismantling the case like a seasoned lawyer. The air in the Los Angeles County Courthouse was heavy, almost suffocating. Rows of spectators filled the gallery, murmuring among themselves as they watched the scene unfold. At the defendant's table, the young man looked almost too small for the imposing furniture. Hands in his pockets, chin slightly raised, he radiated calm confidence. Jalen Dawson, 19, faced charges of grand theft auto and resisting arrest. Serious charges, yet Judge Walter Grayson's gaze suggested that, for him, the real trial had little to do with law. Leaning back, fingers drumming lazily against the polished wood of his desk, Grayson peered at Jalen over the rim of his glasses, a smirk tugging at his lips. "You think you're some kind of legal expert?" His tone carried dry amusement, and a ripple of chuckles ran through the courtroom. The bailiff, the stenographer, even the prosecutor seemed in on the joke. Jalen didn't flinch. He wasn't laughing. Years of preparation had led him here, not for this exact moment, not as a defendant, but he knew the courtroom inside out. While other kids memorized basketball stats, he memorized case law. While friends played video games, he ran mock trials in his head. His mother, Denise Dawson, a paralegal for over 2 decades, had filled his childhood with stories of prosecutors cutting corners, judges playing favorites, and defense attorneys barely trying. By 14, he could break down a trial better than most law students, but to Grayson, he was just another kid in trouble. "Let's make this quick," the judge sighed, flipping open the case file. "I have a golf game at 2. Another wave of chuckles. Jalen's lips curved into a faint, almost imperceptible smirk. Grayson had just made his first mistake, and no one in the courtroom had noticed yet. Prosecutor Mitchell Carrington rose, his posture radiating confidence honed from 100 rehearsed speeches. "Your Honor, the state will prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that the defendant, Jalen Dawson, was caught red-handed in a stolen 2022 Audi A6 reported missing just hours prior. Officers pursued him through downtown as he allegedly attempted to flee. His fingerprints were found on the steering wheel. The evidence speaks for itself," the gallery murmured. On the surface, the case sounded airtight, but Jalen had spent too many years studying trials not to notice the cracks. He stayed silent, observing, waiting. "Let's hear the defense's response," Grayson said. Tapping his gavel, Lisa Thornton, Jalen's public defender, had barely spoken since entering the courtroom. She shifted nervously. "Your Honor, my client," Jalen placed a hand on her arm, a silent request. She hesitated, then sat back down. For the first time, Jalen spoke. "I'll be representing myself, Your Honor," the courtroom froze. Grayson arched an eyebrow, amusement flickering across his face. "I'll be defending myself," a murmur ran through the room. The bailiff raised his eyebrows. Carrington's smirk faltered for a second before he laughed, sharp and forced. But no one was truly laughing as Jalen took his first step forward, the weight of the courtroom settling around him. Hands still in his pockets, he let silence stretch, making everyone uncomfortable. "Your Honor," he began, calm and measured. "Before I proceed, I'd like to confirm something with the prosecution." Carrington raised an eyebrow. "Go ahead. You said Officer Daniel Ruiz personally saw me behind the wheel before my arrest, correct?" "That's right," Carrington replied, already showing signs of impatience, yet the officer wasn't even on duty when the chase began. A flicker of confusion crossed Carrington's face. Jalen continued, "I request to verify Officer Ruiz's GPS logs from that night. If his report is accurate, they should match his location history, but I suspect they will not." Murmurs grew in the gallery. Grayson frowned, turning to Carrington. "No objections." "Your Honor," Carrington finally admitted. The courtroom had shifted. Silence replaced laughter. Tension filled the air. Jalen addressed the jury. "The prosecution wants you to believe my fingerprints on a car mean I stole it. Let's think logically. If you try on a jacket at a store, leave fingerprints, and hours later someone steals it, do your prints make you a criminal?" He paused, letting the logic sink in. The car in question was parked outside a 7-Eleven hours before the alleged theft. I was inside with friends. I leaned against it, opened the door. It was unlocked, but I did not take it. I did not drive it. I was arrested blocks away, walking home after snacks. The only connection to this case is assumptions and sloppy police work. Grayson exhaled slowly, rubbing his temple. The case was unraveling. Jalen presented the final blow, a statement from Raymond Whitaker, the registered owner. Whitaker had told police the car was taken by a different kid, White not Jalen. The courtroom collectively gasped. Carrington scrambled, muttering protests, but the evidence was undeniable. Grayson leaned forward, his gaze sweeping the jury. After a long beat, he spoke, his voice echoing, "Case dismissed." Stunned silence, then chaos. Reporters scribbled frantically. Jalen didn't move immediately, letting the weight of the moment settle. As he walked out, Grayson called after him, "Mr. Dawson, you should consider law school." Jalen smirked. He didn't need to consider it. He was already on his way, outside. Cameras flashed, reporters shouted, but Jalen only noticed his mother, waiting at the bottom of the steps. She shook her head. "Boy, you scared me half to death. Had to take a risk, Ma," he replied, grinning. She hugged him tightly, letting the world fade away. Across the street, Grayson watched him leave. The arrogance was gone. What remained was reflection and acknowledgement that today, the system had been forced to reckon with itself. Jalen had done something few could. He made the system pause and reconsider. A quiet promise that the next time he stood in a courtroom, it wouldn't be as a defendant.